Hey everybody, just a quick video on how to write a basic essay. I just want to give you the basic structure that any essay should follow, whether it's a dissertation chapter or whether it's just a 500 to 750 word essay. You should also always have some sort of introduction, a conclusion, and then the body is going to just be supporting the main argument that you talk about in your introduction, and then also talk about in your conclusion. So last week you had to write on personal finances and Luke if you chose a pastoral track, and so that's your topic, but you have to assert something about that topic. So that's going to be your thesis, your main assertion that you defend. I'm going to choose to talk about Superman. I like Superman, so that's my topic, but I can't just spill a bunch of thoughts about Superman. So a lot of you have really great thoughts, but you are just sort of spilling them out, and we want to organize them. So if you had that feedback that you need to organize better, this is for you. So I'm not just going to talk about Superman here. I'm going to talk about how Superman is undoubtedly the greatest superhero. So you can see highlighted there, that's my thesis. Okay, that's my main assertion, and that's what I need to defend. No one wants to just hear my rambling thoughts on Superman unless they're just a rabid Superman fan. So here's my assertion. I have just one sentence here orienting my reader to the topic. There are many great superheroes in the world today. Leads naturally to my claim, which is Superman is undoubtedly the greatest. Nothing fancy. Always think simple to complex. Try to think simple structure. What's the basic structure, the basic skeleton that I have to follow, and then go from there. For most of your essays in this class, you're just going to be having a really basic approach anyway. You don't have many words to work with in the first place. So here we go. I'm orienting to the topic. I have my thesis, and then I'm going to outline it. Okay? So I'm going to defend and support that thesis in three ways. First, by explaining that he was the first superhero, then I'll focus on his abilities, and finally, his moral character. Okay, so I've told you what I'm going to tell you, now I'm going to tell you. First, and I'm going to follow exactly the order, no surprises, take your reader by the hand, the clearer the better. First, Superman was created in 1938, and blah blah blah. So the rest of that paragraph is going to show why him being the first superhero created in 1938 actually matters to my argument. So if I do that paragraph right, it's all going to be focused on that argument that Superman being the first superhero contributes to considering him as the greatest. Okay? Second, I'm going to say he has arguably greater abilities than any other superhero. So I have arguably there. So I'm anticipating that I'm going to explain why. I might even concede some things. Some people say the Hulk is just as strong, if not stronger. I'm probably going to say something like, well, in the realm of superheroes, since they're fictional, who knows who's strongest? But in any case, he's one of the absolute strongest. He has more abilities than the Hulk has, whatever. I could also, after that, deal with an objection, and you can just read this paragraph here. I won't read it for you. But here the person is objecting that Superman having just one weakness, kryptonite, otherwise he's invincible, that's not really interesting. I'm actually going to anticipate objections like that, and I'm going to have, if it's a significant enough objection, I'm going to have another paragraph for that. So this is not my third point, this is just an objection based on my second point. So I'm going to defend why Superman is actually a good superhero, or the best superhero I should say, because of kryptonite, and how that's not something that weakens the case. Okay, third and finally, we will consider Superman's moral character, and I'm going to explain why that makes him the greatest. So, come to the conclusion, tell us what you told us. This paper has considered Superman as the greatest superhero, so I'm just repeating my thesis, and then I'm going to explain how I established that argument. First, it considered no more than a sentence there, just very basic. First, it considered this. Second, it considered this argument. One objection was also considered. So if I have an objection that's worth a whole paragraph, I want to put that in my conclusion as well. And then third point of argumentation there as well. So then I have a concluding couple of thoughts here. Nothing fancy. I'm not doing new arguments here. I'm just sort of drawing some implications as I bring it to a nice conclusion. So if we see Superman as the greatest superhero based on these arguments, we can better appreciate the value of our past and the longing we have to overcome all obstacles. Those are the first two arguments there. It can help us to appreciate the history of heroes in literature and can inspire us to be better human beings. So those statements there are not going to be anything new. In the fuller essay, I would have mentioned those as I went along and established my points of argumentation. So hope that helps. Again, think as basic as possible. Just tell us what you're going to tell us in the opening, tell us in the body, and then tell us what you told us. Every essay must be organized that way. Otherwise, it's just a pile of thoughts. So hope this is helpful, and hope you guys are continuing to enjoy the course.